If you're thinking, what am I doing here now? Then this video would be much helpful. In Hoping World, you definitely find your own answers. Welcome to Hwien's Hoping World. Where do we start in the Hoping World? Maybe finding hope is the best place to start. Then where and how should we find it? Have you thought of hope? What is hope? We might think of hope as something very abstract. That's why it's not easy to recognize it. Of course, it's not a noun for the things we can see or touch, but we can reach it quite easily. Let us start here. Let me ask you some questions. Have you ever wondered what you think about on a daily basis? Do you think that you know yourself well? How much do you know yourself? Or have you ever communicated with yourself? Sounds strange. Most people think they know themselves very well. But of the things we think about or picture in our minds, almost 8% are the same as yesterday's. It means we should focus on what we think consciously. In my case, I experienced something very awful. Have you heard of the term self-coaching note? Around 2 years ago, I read a psychology book titled 오늘 진짜 내 마음을 만났습니다, which was the self-coaching book for being oneself. In the book, I learned about, for the first time, self-coaching note, that the author coined the word. This sounds real? Not really actually. You just write on the page anything you're currently thinking about. It's easy. Of course, in the book, the author prepared a lot of questions to help anyone reading find themselves. Above all, in my opinion, communicating with myself through self-coaching note is the most important step towards knowing myself. At first, I was disgruntled with writing down my thoughts. I remember I wrote random thoughts such as, why should I write such wasteful things? Is it really meaningful? Should I continue this? Then, at some point, I started cursing myself. Everything went wrong because of me. I was so negative and it messed up everything. I felt as though all problems were rooted in myself. Can you imagine what my situation was like? How vicious I was. I should have stopped there. Unfortunately, I felt like reading it from the top to the bottom thoroughly. Yes, it was a bad choice. At that time, I was sitting in a Starbucks, writing away my thoughts. While reading the terrible paper, I couldn't help but burst into tears. The content was so shocking and staggering. I kept insulting and abusing myself. I hurled abuses at myself continuously. Listening to what I told myself, I became the most pitiful person in the world, and the wicked assailant was none other than me. How could I say such things to myself? Even almost every time. I couldn't stand it. I pitied myself. Sitting alone, I sobbed silently. I have meditated for the past 4 years. Not every day, but most days though. 도인 명상 on YouTube has been my meditation source. I have wept on several occasions during meditations unconsciously, even though I didn't really have a special reason. Looking back on those days, I did not realize that I cured myself gradually. Recently, I started reading the book titled The Artist's Way and started to write morning pages. After meditation, I will jot down my floating thoughts, whatever they may be. Surprisingly, in the morning pages, it's hard to find something negative about myself, just only a little. I don't curse anymore. Up until now, I have passed several courses, which have helped me find my way. These courses made me a stronger person and removed the stresses from my life. As you can see, it's hard to see the darkest thoughts in my mind. I wrote the self-coaching note only once and didn't have the courage to do it again. But now I realize that I did it in different ways. Obviously, some ways were not on purpose, but they still worked. Self-coaching note, meditation, morning pages, or whatever we call it does not matter one bit. The most important point is that we should try to know ourselves, especially current thoughts running through our mind. I suggest that at least once in your life, sit down and look at your thoughts. It helps you know where you are and where you can start. Where I am is the starting point. That's why those actions must be helpful and hopeful. Right at that point, there is hope. Surely there is hope. You cannot just find it without acting for yourself. The most important point I want to get across is to take care of yourself and make sure before anything else that you are okay. Listen to your mind and your thoughts. It may be unfamiliar territory, but join me on this journey as we go searching. I am with you. Let's go together. Thank you for watching and living with me. I'm here as your hope partner. Live with hope.